Hi, welcome to my video on another way to express how to find the coordinates of a point through a rotation. R represents rotation. This ordered pair is radius stands for R, comma 0 is a point on the circle, and theta is the rotation. Let's do some examples. Find the coordinates of a point. If the rotation is 90 degrees and the point on the circle is 0, 1. Let's just draw that circle first. Here we are. This is the point that's being rotated, 0, 1. And it's rotated, this point is being rotated through 90 degrees to right here. And it's a unit circle whose center is 0, 0. So the point, coordinates of the point, the cos of 90 is the x coordinate. The sine of 90 is the y coordinate. Cos is the x, so it goes up to here. So this point right here is x is 0, y is 1. So x is 0, so the cos is 0, the cos of 90 is 0, and the sine of 90 is 1. Let's do another one. Let's rotate the point 1, 0, 120 degrees. And again, let's draw a diagram and draw a circle. So this is the point 1, 0, and we're rotating 120 degrees. So 90 plus, so let's do it right there. That's 120 degree rotation. Oh, let's put the 90 degree rotation in here. 120, we draw a terminal arm out to that point, and we drop a perpendicular to the x-axis. So that's 120 degrees. This is 60 degrees. So the reference angle in the corner of the right triangle is 60. So that means that this angle is 30. Opposite 30 is a half. Opposite 60 is root 3 over 2. Oh, make that root 3 over 2. And the y is positive, the x is a negative a half. And again, the cos of 120 is the x, the sine of 120 is the y. So the cos of 120 is in relation to the reference angle. So the x is a negative a half, and the y is root 3 over 2. Sine is the y. And let's do another one. Rotating a negative 125 degrees. We're rotating the point 1, 0. So here's the circle. Here's the point 1, 0. The radius of the circle is 1. And we're rotating a negative 125 degrees. So if we rotate, that's 90, 180, 125 is roughly here. So that's a negative 225. Draw a terminal arm out through. And this gives, that's 180, so this is a 45 here. So that means we drop a perpendicular to the x-axis. This angle is a 45. This angle is a 45. So this side, the sides of the triangle are root 2 over 2, root 2 over 2. The y is positive and the x is negative. And again, the cos of a negative 225 and the sine of a negative 225. The cos is the x, and the x is a negative root 2 over 2. The sine is the y, which is root 2 over 2. And another one, rotate 130 degrees, rotate this point. Now let's draw, we're rotating, there's the circle, and there's the point 1, 0, and we're rotating 330 degrees, so that's 90, 180, 270, and 60 more. So there's 330 degree rotation. Drop a terminal arm out through this point, perpendicular to the x-axis. That's 330, so this arc right here is at 30. So that means this angle in here, the reference angle is 30. This one is 60. Opposite 30 is a half. Opposite 60 is root 3 over 2. But in the fourth quadrant, the x is positive and the y is negative. And the rotation, the cos is the x of 330. The sine of 330 is the y. And so the x is root 3 over 2. And the sine is the y, which is a negative a half. And if you use your calculator and check these out, remember, root 3 over 2 is 0.86, or roughly 0.9. A negative half is 0.5. And root 2 over 2 is 0.707, or that's negative, and there's a positive 707. And so you can use your calculator to check to see if he's right, but I always like to draw the diagram to make sure. So that's 330 degrees. And that's some examples. So next page has some practice. So pause your video and see if you can work these out. You can use your calculator, but I always like to draw the diagram to make sure I know what I'm doing. Here we go. Find the coordinates of the point. So draw a circle. The point is 1, 0. That means we have a unit circle. We'll rotate 150 degrees, so that's 90. And right down here, terminal arm goes out through, so that's 150 degrees. That means this arc right here is 30. That means this central angle, so this reference angle is 30, equal to the arc. Drop a perpendicular. This angle is 60. Opposite 60 is root 3 over 2. Opposite 30 is a half. And the y is positive, and the x is negative. And the cos of 150 is the x, and the sine of 150 is the y. So the cos is 150 is positive a half, and the sine of 150 is negative root 3 over 2. And again, check with your calculator. You should get 0.5, and for this one you should get a negative 0.86 approximately. And rotating 180 degrees through this point. So here we go. Draw a circle. Notice this is a unit circle. Its radius is 1. So we're rotating 180 degrees. So we're rotating right over there. And right on this point. And the coordinates of this point is negative 1, 0. So we could go cos of 180, sine of 180, and the cos is negative 1, and the sine is 0. We're rotating 180 degrees. Number 3, we're going to rotate a negative 135 degrees from this point. So the point again is the point 1, 0. And we're rotating a negative 135. So that's negative 90. So approximately right there. Let's go back to here. I just won't indicate that this rotation is 180. This rotation here is a negative 135. Terminal arm going out through. And that makes this arc right here 45 degrees. So this reference angle is 45. Drop a perpendicular to the x-axis. This angle is 45. So the sides, remember, the hypotenuse of the triangle is 1, which is the radius of the circle. So this side is root 2 over 2, and this side is root 2 over 2, and the x is negative, and the y is negative, and therefore we have the cos of a negative 135 degrees, comma, the sine of a negative 135 degrees. That's a degree right there. The The cos is the x, which is the negative root 2 over 2. And the sine is the y, which is negative root 2 over 2. And if you check with your calculator, that's a negative 707 as a decimal, and that's a negative 707 as a decimal. Okay, we have another one to do. Let's draw the axes, and we're rotating in negative 30 degrees, and the circle, we're rotating this point 0, 1, negative 30. Negative 30 is down here, so that's 30, negative 30. Terminal arm perpendicular to the x-axis, so that's negative 30 rotation. This angle is 30 to reference. This angle is 60. Opposite 60 is root 3 over 2. Opposite to 30 is a half. But the x is negative in, sorry, the x is positive in the fourth quadrant. The y is negative. And again, the cos of a negative 30 is the x. The sine of a negative 30 is the y value. And the cos is the x, which is root 3 over 2. And the sine is the y, which is a negative a half. And use your calculator, and this should be 0.86. And this should be a negative 0.5. Okay, notice that all the ones we did that were rotating to 0.10, which means your radius is a 1. Notice the radius is 1. But what about a circle with a radius not equal to 1? Let's have a look. Let's draw a circle. And this time, here comes the circle. This point is 2, 0. Now notice it's not a unit circle. The radius is 2. And we want to rotate this point 90 degrees, which means we want to move it to right there. If we move that point right there 90 degrees, that means this point, x must be 0, and y must be 2. See, the radius of the circle is 2. That means anywhere from here out to here is 2. That means the distance from here to up to this point is 2. So the point is 0, 2. Okay, that's an easy one to do. But let's do a one where the rotation is a 150 and see how we're going to get the answers. Here we go. Notice this point this time. The point is 5, 0. And we want to rotate 150 degrees. So let's say that's a 150 degree rotation. So what's the coordinates of this point right here? Well, we draw a terminal arm out to that point, drop it perpendicular to the x-axis. If that's 150, then this is a 30. So the reference angle is 30, and this angle is 60. So what happens is that this coordinates of this point is going to be 5 times larger than it would be on a unit circle. So what happens is this: the cos of 150 on this circle is the x over the r, and the sine of 150 is the y over the r. And since r, 0, since the radius is 5, so the cos of 150, so if we draw the 30, 60, 90 right triangle, 30, 60, 90, that's a half. That's a root 3 over 2, and that's a 1 on a triangle that has a hypotenuse of 1. So the cos of the reference angle is 30, so the cos of 30 would be root 3 over 2. And the x coordinate, since the radius is 5, we have to solve this for x. So 2x equals 5 root 3 divided by 2. X is 5 root 3 over 2. Notice it's 5 times larger. And the sine of 150, which is the sine of 30, which is a half. Y, r is 5, cross multiply, 2y, 1 times 5 is 5, divide by 2, y is 5 over 2. So the x is 5 root 3 over 2, and the y is 5 over 2. It's 5 times larger. You can't put a half here and a root 3 over 2 negative here. That's if the radius is 1. So we have to multiply the values that if we use this triangle right here, we have to multiply the values by 5. Practice. Pause the video and see if you can work these out. Practice. Find the coordinates of the point, the rotation. So the circle is this circle, and the point is 4, 0, and we're rotating 135 degrees. So that's roughly 135 degrees right there. We drop perpendicular, or terminal arm going perpendicular. We drop a perpendicular from that point to the x-axis. There's the terminal arm going out. This rotation is 135 degrees. So this is a 45. So this angle is 45. This angle is 45. So the reference angle is 45. So that means draw a separate triangle. 45, 45, root 2 over 2, root 2 over 2, 1 on the unit circle. Hypotenuse is 1. Now, the cos of 135 is x over r, and the sine of 135 is the y over the r, and the cos, if you notice, the cos is root 2 over 2, but notice, I just noticed back here, the cos of 150 is dx, and dx is negative. So when we cross multiply, we get negative, and that's a negative, and that's a negative. I forgot to put that this is a negative in here. Cos is dx negative, and the y is okay, the y is positive. So that when I did this one, I just noticed it again, that the cos of 135, the cos is dx is negative, and x, the radius is 4. So we cross multiply. 2x is negative 4 root 2. Divide by 2. X is negative 2 root 2. You divide the 2 into the 4, not into the root. And the sine of this one is positive, so that's okay. That's root 2 over 2. Y, and the radius is 4. So 2y equals 4 root 2. Divide by 2. Y equals 2 root 2. So the point is negative 2 root 2 and 2 root 2. Again, it's you're multiplying the values that you would have had on either circle by 4. And the last one, we got a rotation of 140 degrees on the point 3, 0. And there's the point 3, 0. It means in this one, you notice r is 0. Sorry, r is 4. And this one, r is 3. So we're going to rotate 240 degrees. There's 100, there's 90, 180, and there's 60 more. So here we are. There's the rotation of 240. So we stop. Terminal arm goes out to that point, perpendicular to the x-axis. That's 180. So this arc right here is 60. So the reference angle is 60. This is the 30. And we think about the triangle, 1, 30, 60. Opposite 30 is a half. Opposite 60 is root 3 over 2. And the cos of 240 is the x over the r. And the sine of 240 is the y over the r. And the cos is in relation to, notice this is a 60 reference, so the cos is a half. So notice cos is the x, but it's negative. X is negative there. And the radius is 3. So 2x is negative 3. When we cross multiply it, divide by 2. X is negative 3 over 2. So negative 3 over 2 for the x. And the sine is the y. And the y is negative also. So it's the sine is, again, is in relation to the 60-degree reference. So it's a negative root 3 over 2. And the radius is 3. 2y is negative 3 root 3. Divide by 2. Y is negative 3 root 3 over 2. And negative 3 root 3 over 2. So notice, again, you don't see this done too often. I'm just doing this as an extra. But again, be careful. When you go to the third quadrant, make sure that the x coordinate and the y coordinates are negative. You can put them in here, or you can work these out and then put the negatives in after. Again, you don't see this done too often. You see it mostly on the unit circle. You don't see it where the radius is more than 1. And if you like my video, click on the like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. That's the content on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Thank you for viewing my video. Bye-bye.